I love Damascus. Let the journey begin. Day 2 in the Syrian Arab Republic. Good morning. So now I'm going to eat breakfast. We'll see what they have over here. It's 8:30 and it should be a nice one. This is what we got. One of the children from the family served me breakfast at the restaurant. Bye-bye. The kid was a pretty nice server, and after having breakfast, I continued on my way. Here we have the washroom, but this thing is not working. They just have a normal towel. It's practical. After eating breakfast, I went downstairs to the lobby to meet with my guide, and we would go explore Old Damascus. Alright, day 2 here. It's the day off actually, but we're gonna do some sightseeing. This was one of the water management offices for Damascus. They called it Water Sharky. Here was an unusual white-petaled Syrian flower. The original name for Syria was Sham. That's why you could see Sham tour on this bus. Green leafy vegetables. This was how to keep cancer away. And it was all available in Syria too. You could make all types of salads with these assortments of greens.
Myself, I have a good stomach.
Yeah.
So fresh milk,
Yeah, okay. Corn on the cob on the right side. Cabbage, peppers, oranges. Everything you could find here, even grapes. But don't forget about the pears, apples, and persimmons here too. What was this shop? Oh, this shop sold fool. Also garbanzos, but in the front they had pickled vegetables. Ahmed went to get a sample of garbanzos. Back in the streets of Damascus, there went an old car again. It really felt like I was back in the 1980s. My guide explained what happened when a child from a family got married and needed a new place to live.
These two houses like two shoulders because they are neighbors. Earn your shoulder, and they will build a room here and they use it.
So just like that?
Yes.
I see.
To make the life easy.
Yeah. If they needed more space for their house, they would just build a second floor that was overhanging over the street like this one. Here we had an old Chevrolet with a grill covering its headlights. This was a Lada Nova 1500 from Russia, which was converted into a yellow taxi.
The name of that planet which produce these lovely flowers, they call it crazy or majnoon in Arabic because it climbs like crazy.
Yeah, it goes everywhere. We entered this hotel courtyard to take a look at the architecture. Those are tourists. I thought these were tourists, but actually when I stopped to talk to them, they were UN workers here on business. They told me not to leave Damascus, but was that true? I would later learn from my guide the real facts. We found some tourists at the hotel. Actually, they were not tourists, they were here for business.
Yeah.
And the first thing they told me was just stay in Damascus. But what about the other cities? Are they safe too?
I believe their jobs only here in Damascus. As I told you, always the media or the news controlled by policies.
Yeah.
And in Western media, Syria, it's a red zone.
Yeah.
It's a very dangerous place. Either Damascus.
Yeah.
It's a red zone. And the Damascus in the center. And you are in Damascus and this is your second day.
Yeah.
You will answer, not me.
Yeah. It seems to be safe here in Damascus.
Not only in Damascus, I've been with a lot of tourists. We visited the homes, Claque de Chevalier, either Palmyra, and also Aleppo, Hama, Latakia, different parts. The dangerous zone right now, after we finish from these terrorists, it will be in the middle region, in Idlib right now.
Idlib, okay.
Yeah, but we will never cross by there. Inshallah, after just a short time, it will be liberated. Next time when you come to here, you can visit.
All right,
safely,
great.
100%.
Okay, excellent. We walked through the alleyways of Old Damascus to find a bakery that was really famous.
Here, let's have a look to this bakery. From a side, it's smaller than the usual or the governmental ones.
Pocket breads.
صديقي كيفك؟ And the oven is down there.
Okay.
So without Saint Paul, the whole Europe will not be Christian.
Oh wow.
And this is the starting point of Saint Paul. So Damascus is the cradle of Christianity, the minaret of Islam. They say there is more than 40 prophets crossed by or arrived to Damascus. We saw Cassion Mountain, and also there is a cave from where the first crime happened, where Cain killed Abel. Here they said in the mountains, while it's the first crime in the world, the land shakes. When you see like a crime, surprise like this, and the cave, it has the same shape of the mouse.
Oh, really?
While it's surprising.
Can we see that too? Can we find that cave?
We will see. You have to climb more than 600 stairs to arrive.
So it's in the countryside from Damascus.
In Damascus, Cassion Mountain, the highest point. Damascus city, it's located in a basin, watered by Balada River with 7 branches.
Yeah.
And there is very high, the highest point is Cassion Mountain. From there you can have panoramic view. In the early morning, it's very popular to listen to Ferouz, which is a Lebanese singer. She sings like 2 songs about Cassion's mountain.
Oh, okay.
Now let's visit the church.
Yeah. Even Pope John Paul II went to visit Damascus in May 2001. Here were some souvenirs you could buy from the church's gift shop. This was the underground house of Saint Ananias, the one who baptized Saul of Tarsus, also known as Saint Paul. Oh, Saint Paul escaped from Bab Kisan.
Yes.
Will we go visit that place?
I will see. If available, we will see.
After the church, we went to visit a chess and backgammon shop. You could play chess on this side and backgammon on the other side. This shop owner made everything from scratch in his little shop and had been doing this for years. Some locals in Old Damascus allowed tourists to enter their home to view the architecture inside. We've also experienced this in Yemen, where locals open up their homes for tourists to come by. They collect all the water from the roof and then it goes down this hole and straight into this water area, huh? This door over here is made from camel bones. The decoration, at least. If you look really closely, like over here, you can find a piece that's missing. This place even has a turtle here. It's the pet turtle. Here you have the Armenian Orthodox Church.
Here there's the effect of one of the mortals, and there is an artist. He completed or to memorize it, to complete this art. But he's not professional. She draw in 3D.
Yeah. This was the famous street from the Bible called Straight Street. You could find any car in Syria, even a Jaguar, like this one. But of course, there were scratches. There's so many scratches on this car.
The picture belongs to martyrs from these neighborhoods originally.
They put their photo here in remembrance for their help in the war.
They are civilians, they volunteers to
Okay.
defend their countries. Spring, it's one of the most healthiest water in the world.
Okay.
For that reason, I drink it, but for it not suits or the visitors.
Yeah, okay. So taste this one, see if it tastes good.
It's not.
It's not working?
Yes.
Oh, but they have a cup here.
I will not.
It used to
drink.
work.
Yeah.
It's not always available. Oops, I guess it's not working. What is this?
It's hot and fresh. That's it.
Oh, it's peanuts.
Here he has different types. It's mixed between kaju, almond, either salty or sweet. Different types.
Oh,
They
okay.
produce it here at by their house there.
So this is the machine you do it on. And this one too.
This is the factory. Here where they roasted. For 60 years old.
60 years?
This place active.
Wow, that's a long time.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's a family business.
Yes.
This was the entryway for Azam Palace.
This like best example. It contains 3 main sections: the family section and the guest section.
Yeah.
They called it salamlek, and the servant. It contains courtyard surrounded by rooms. But this section is specialized for the family.
It was somewhat like a museum inside, displaying old artifacts. At the Azam Palace, I found some ugly oranges. We're having lunch here.
Yeah.
What do we have?
Food.
Food?
It's breakfast actually.
Oh, yeah. And pickles. Soon it was 12 o'clock noon, and it was prayer time. Here was a juice stand that specialized in making fresh orange juice and fresh pomegranate juice. This kid shaved ice right from the ice block to give to this customer. Look at that work ethic. Next, I found a licorice stick for sale.
This one is sweet.
How do you use it?
Just bite it, the juice.
Yeah?
It's sweet.
Oh, okay.
And also they prepare from this very traditional drink. It's
drink.
very common during Ramadan time.
Okay.
They call it arqsus in Arabic. هلا هي بس عض كيف تعض.
هذا بس نص.
This one only just swipe and suck.
While the sticks on the right were licorice sticks, the sticks on the left were for brushing your teeth. So now I got the licorice stick. So just
Did you find the taste?
yeah, I can
And
taste it.
bite it a little bit.
Yeah.
And then suck the juice.
So they do this in Syria.
We are now at the location of Umayyad Mosque.
Okay.
This piece of land it was used for religious purposes since first millennium BC.
Here was a tamarind vendor with his large copper flask attached to his back. Watch him fling up a drink and catch it back in his cup. That was an impressive skill, I thought.
You said that you have to drink.
Tamarind juice. This was a new drink for me. This is that famous marketplace that you walk through. It's starting to get busy now.
This is the main market. It's known here as the Hamidiya market, 800 meters long. They said it was built during Ottoman occupation, but that's totally wrong. They made restoration because it's belong to the time of Jupiter temple. But the last restoration made during Ottoman occupation by Syrians' money and Syrian architecture and Syrian workers.
This was Bakdesh, an ice cream shop famous for its pistachio-covered ice cream called buza. It was similar to Turkish ice cream. We found the famous ice cream shop over here. Established in 1895, over 100 years ago.
They serve here either gourmet or glass like this.
Okay. Oh, it's so big. You can't finish this one? Alright. So this one has pistachios on top.
Yeah, sure. Syria, very famous by producing pistachios.
This place was normally packed, but on a Sunday around noontime, it was relatively calm. Surah? Okay, let's get a photo. When the staff members saw me, they wanted to have a photo with me, so I stopped for a few seconds and my guide took our photo. And another group of kids. Alright, let's go. This ice cream was unique because it was stretchy and chewy, mainly because it used two ingredients, the orchid root flower, sahlab, and a plant resin, mastic. Usually this marketplace was really full, but today was Sunday. Here was another ice cream shop, but not as popular. At 1 o'clock, we were still doing good on time, so we left the marketplace. Here was another candy ad. Here was the famous statue of Saladin, born in 1137. I wanted to visit the zoo next, so we went to the road and searched for a taxi. Taxis in Damascus were easy to come by, and they always treated you fairly. Watch my separate episode of my visit to the Damascus Zoo, where I saw monkeys, lions, camels, porcupines, hyenas, turtles, pigeons, and even dogs, cats, horses, sheep, bears, ducks, and birds. After visiting the zoo, we walked on foot through the residential neighborhood to experience the daily life and make our way back, slowly, to Old Damascus. Here are the type of ice creams you can find in Damascus. They have the Ohio ice cream.
Brand is Umayya. It's very famous here.
Oh, really? So it's all Syrian ice creams. For Oreo, they have Orino instead. Here's the Orino sandwich. This was an ad for the Discovery chocolate spread. I guess if you eat this, you'll get strong. This looks interesting. What is this? The Scientific School Museum. What do you think you could visit there?
That's a museum specialized for pieces of technology or paintings or different arts made by students.
Oh, okay.
They made for the masterpieces, for the most talented students, their product, they show it at that museum.
This was how an ATM looked like in Syria. They even had expensive Hummers in Damascus. I love the old cars you could find in Damascus. Here we had a Chevrolet Caprice Classic. What was this one? There's an old car again. It was an old Citroën convertible assembled in France. and somehow made it to Syria. I came across this cat that was so calm, he even put his arm across this metal beam. Hey buddy, old pal. But he was a little dirty. I found another old car here. This is the Buick. Wow, this is unusual. After the zoo visit and the walk through the neighborhood, we took a taxi to return to Old Damascus. Chinese restaurant. Have you been to that Chinese restaurant? No? We have to ask Ahmed, yeah?
Actually, I tried and the food, it was delicious. The name of the restaurant, it was Al-Harazi. It was very good, very delicious. I like it, I like the food, but I don't like the dessert.
The dessert?
Fried in banana with sugar powder. Myself, I don't like it.
What kind of food do you like?
Japanese.
So the Japanese restaurants, who works inside? Is it Syrian people?
Used to be Japanese, Filipinos who made Japanese food.
Really?
Yeah.
So maybe I can meet a Filipino in Syria?
Yeah.
This was how croissants looked like in Damascus. I kinda liked it being Sunday because it wasn't as busy as the normal weekdays. Well, look at this one. This was the pizza delivery man. I love the quickness and efficientness of this way of delivering pizza. I was surprised to find this flag in Damascus. This was Pizza Al-Harazi. It basically had square pizza, but cut into slices. Selling corn on the cob as a street snack was popular, so I stopped by a vendor to pick up one. I just want one. Wahid.
بدي واحدة.
This one.
One. Stay at this side and film like this.
Shukran. Even though there were few foreign tourists, there were still enough local tourists to make souvenir shops worthwhile. They even had the old Iraqi dinar for sale with Saddam's face on it. These flag-colored bracelets were popular worldwide, I noticed. Oh, that's nice.
Thank you.
That's it.
Yeah.
And here, turn off the camera.
Okay. We returned to the juice vendor. He sure had colorful fruits on display. Okay.
No problem.
I just want to look. When he saw me with my camera, he decided to go to get his traditional hat to wear. Hanan?
Yeah, it's a symbol for beautiful lady. And here it's a very popular song.
Ah, okay.
No حنان عنكم ما احنا عندنا حنان
تماما.
لسه بيقولوا اوروبا واوروبا هاي حنان ما عنده
طبعا.
ورد ربحام عنكم ولا بشتري.
So that's the finished product. 500. All right.
Small 500, large 1000.
Here was a small park in the city center, and this column was made out of bronze.
Nasser Street with the opposite side of this street. Most of it French design, built during French occupation.
So down this way, we have the railway station. There was a shop that sold mini snack pizzas. You could find many varieties. My guide wanted to get shawarma. Look how big this stack of shawarma was. Although no fast food chains were in Damascus, they did have companies like Western Union and DHL. We returned back to the handicraft market to eat our takeaway dinner back at his office. Here was the Four Seasons Hotel again. It was a good landmark, considering its height. And of course, the sweets advertisements. Here was an interesting sign that I saw on an overpass. So I finished my tour today on Saturday, so I'm just gonna go back to my hotel. So when you want the elevator, you actually push down to bring it down, even though you want to go up. And then I go to the second floor. There we go, there's no door on the inside. You just watch the floors go by. I guess it's prayer time. Let's listen to what they have to say. Oh look, the air conditioning goes out. The air conditioning system here, they had to break through the window. It made a crack. They didn't even make a hole, it was a crack. You can see what's happening outside Damascus. So I'm gonna go to Cinema City now to eat at Sake Sushi Restaurant. I got two sake restaurants here and I met a Filipino that was leaving work. He told me he had been working for 6 months in Syria. His friend had told him to come to Syria since it was now considered safe. So what you do is you look on this iPad to find the things that you want. So I'm gonna order the avocado cucumber roll. Okay. Oh great, that's it. That's vegetarian. Thank you. So sushi came here. Looks pretty good. And I'm gonna try sushi in Damascus. Tastes pretty good. After eating at Sake Sushi restaurant, I walked through the box office to exit and realized Damascus was just a normal city. You couldn't tell any difference between this movie theater or one in any other country. People were going about their daily business. The only difference you could say would be the metal detector as you entered the cinema, but even that was practiced in some other countries that I've seen. When I got outside the cinema, I found this car with an unusual cartoon on the back that read, "Don't touch my car." He was pretty serious about it, but then look at his car. It had so many scratches and dents on it. On the way back to my hotel, I stopped by one of the cafes to experience the local atmosphere and have a tea. So I got some tea here at this little cafe. It's really nice one. Lots of people come here to play backgammon and different games as they hang out with their friends. And even smoke. After a full day out, I was ready to go back to my hotel. I really liked this restaurant. As I returned to my hotel, it was all made out of wood. So long. I stayed 2 nights at this Al-Majid hotel, which was a pretty good experience. It had breakfast, it was affordable, and the staff were friendly. Stay tuned for day 3 when I stop to get pomegranate juice, then get a ride to the bus station to catch my bus south to the border to Amman, Jordan.